The Virgin Mobile Cup about to go green. Although it doesn't anymore. He did a few creeping. We'll have to look at our monitor and see if anybody gets any penalties for jump starts there as well. Virgin Mobile Cup underway.
Brendan Roberts in the lead.
Yeah, big time. And behind him, Billy McConnell just hanging on in there in second place as they go through. I hold my breath a little bit when they go through the chicane for the first time, because really you can get tripped up so easily there. Seen some big accidents there where people just slightly get out of control. That's the faster version of chicanes. And out onto the back straight.
Yeah, a bit slipstreaming on this back straight. If you get a good slingshot on there, along there, you can actually get in the slipstream and pull out. And Billy McConnell right on the back of Brendan Roberts there. Of course, these guys, not tyre warmers, but they do 2 warm-up laps.
Oh, there goes one. That looks like Adam Jenkinson. No?
Was it Mark Pollock?
Might have been Mark Pollock. Let's have a look. That is Adam Jenkinson.
Yes,
I thought
number
so.
11.
So Adam Jenkinson down on the deck. That's a shame. So then, let's have a look and see who tripped. It's all happening. It looked like Adam Jenkinson was underneath, and I think you're right. That does look like Pollock to me. That's gone into the field. Well, Adam Jenkinson, that's a bit of a pointless exercise, but we'll try and work out who that was that's gone into the field. It looked like Pollock to me. Through goes. Yeah, that was a great manoeuvre from Billy McConnell. Billy McConnell then takes the lead on the animal bike.
James Rose up to 3rd.
Good ride from him as well.
No, he's on the grass.
Oh, so James Rose gives himself a whole lot more work to do. James Rose qualified in 6th place. McConnell leads on at the end of lap 1 as we start lap 2, and that is a big lead.
It's David Anthony 2nd now, Brendan Roberts back to 3rd.
And that was Michael Niblett that went down. Michael Niblett on bike 19. It was Adam Jenkinson and Michael Niblett. So Niblett going down on the Rex Judd Smarts Astro Vans Yamaha. McConnell was the fastest man of lap 1, and here it is.
Oh, he touched Brendan Roberts, got touched there. That
James
like
Rose.
James Rose, just a little bit keen to get underneath Brendan.
That's actually quite a good save. No panic there. Of course, if you panicked at that point, you could have had a big problem.
In trouble.
McConnell, Anthony Roberts, there they are then, the 3 Aussies out front at the moment. Hegarty, Daniel Hegarty is the best of the Brits.
Daniel Hegarty's a young talent as well, a good young talent.
He is. He set the fastest lap at Brands at the beginning of the year. And watch out for number 20, Daniel Hegarty. You're holding your breath as well.
I am. I was just looking at Brendan Roberts having a look up the inside of David Anthony. It's spitting rain at the same time. We've seen spots of rain in the camera. These guys will be getting spots of rain on their visors, and of course they're all out there on pretty standard D28 Dunlops. Brendan Roberts looking for a way around the outside. He's going to go wide. He's going to be careful not to lose it to Daniel Hegarty there.
Keep an eye on Ian Lowry as well on bike 17. Ian Lowry's right in the mix with these guys and looking from side to side was David Anthony. Sponsored by the Astro Group. They picked up a little bit of sponsorship, some of the Aussies over here as well. Look at the tyre wear there as they was coming through that particular turn. Nothing on the left-hand side of the tyre, but a little bit showing on the right-hand side now.
Now these guys in practice, they were doing 27 flat. I think the first and second did 27 flat. At the moment, fastest lap Billy McConnell 28.564. Safely through tower there.
Still only on lap 3 of 14. I'll tell you what, Billy McConnell easing away at the front. A 1.5 second lead last time past our box here.
Keep your eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just looks so quick. A few spots of rain are coming on some of our cameras around. There you go, just showing on that one now.
That looks like enough to make the track slippy.
Well, that Rob Mack is going to be holding his breath at, because Rob McElnay, the leader of the Virgin Mobile, well, we have to say enterprises, really, don't we, with the amount of things he's got going on, but half a dozen smashed R6s is not what he wants to have to fix in the next week.
Yeah. In some ways, when track conditions are like these, they have got a good tyre setup because the tyres are effectively intermediates. They do have cuts in them, but
that was a lunge from behind as we come down into there. Excuse me, Neil. 13 is still David Anthony.
The guy that's got a difficult job here is Billy McConnell, the leader, because of course he's out front racing around there. He knows it's spitting with rain. It could just get wetter at some of the corners, but he's the first guy to arrive there, and he's the one that will find out how much traction is available.
Daniel Hegarty on bike number 20. He only started road racing in 2003, which just goes to prove that this is a true class for newcomers. And whoa, look at this, we're going to have a right old move coming on here. Ian Lowry.
3 abreast.
Nicely done.
Goes back to 5th.
Ian Lowry, 2 passes, all in one move for Lowry. Don't quite get the drive out of there though. Looked like he might have been done again. Yes, he was, by 20. Daniel Hegarty on the wheel-to-wheel racing bike.
Hectic stuff here.
It is hectic stuff here. 17 looks at it again. Look at it all over the place. They're coming and going. This is a great battle.
A little bit of rain thrown into the mix.
I think that's what's actually caused it. This is the battle for 4th place, just to remind you. Fastest lap has gone to Brendan Roberts at the moment. 1 minute 20.028. As far as I'm aware, that's a new lap record. I can find the sheet that it was on, I would tell you for sure.
Yeah, Billy McConnell still there. Just keep her eye on the gap. The gap over the start-finish line on the last lap was 1.2 seconds. Billy McConnell about to cross the line. Oh, Tommy Hill's brother down, really unfortunate. Baptism of fire. Look at the rain coming down there. That's going to make the conditions so difficult.
Jimmy Hill moves out as, well, that's the reason why. And that bike just doing a bit of a barrel roll there. That 5 or 14 we're on, and another one. Oh, that looks like Daniel Hegarty. It is Daniel Hegarty that's gone. So Daniel Hegarty on bike number 20 was right in there at the time. Oh, it's all happening on the R6 Cup.
Billy McConnell still in front. Brendan, guys are moving around now. These guys have to be so careful. They have to have so much feel.
Got a great feel for it, he has at the moment, but he's being closed down, it looks like to me, by Brendan Roberts.
Not unlike the conditions these guys had at Oulton Park, and our hearts were in our mouths watching these guys riding around at Oulton Park when the rain was coming down. Stay off the pavement, that white paint is slipping.
I don't think we can say the Aussies have got an advantage as far as we're concerned in the wet, can we?
Well,
the animal bike,
it's a level playing field here.
You can gloss over that if you want to. The animal bike out front. He is, of course, the championship leader, but he's becoming, well, he's under a bit of pressure from Roberts at the moment.
Well, it's definitely drier at this part of the circuit. They come around to complex here, through this right, then onto the final left-hand hairpin on the start-finish straight.
Take another look at this now. Oh, this is
white paint.
White paint. You've said it already. That was the rear end of the bike, just on the white paint.
He did nothing wrong there except go.
And fair play to the MCRCB as well, who have actually paid for this safer barrier that's around the racetrack. That well. Portable stuff that's around here. The controlling body of British Superbike Racing has actually forked out for a whole load of the stuff, and that was a great point.
Oh no! That Brendan Roberts down.
Brendan Roberts. I tell you what, that's quite big just there.
Yeah, real unfortunate.
I don't think that's going to go again. It'll be full of straw.
Yeah, it's too bad for Brendan there. Conditions are so tricky. Second in the championship at the moment, Brendan, so that's not done. That'll probably be one result that he will want to ditch.
Although, having said that, his opening Brands Hatch 4 points, really, you know, he's got a couple that he'd like to dump at the end of the year if he can. Especially if this guy's going as well as he is. The lowest he's finished is in an 11 points position.
Yeah.
So
points make prizes.
Yeah, Billy McConnell is definitely looking very strong. Had a little bit of a look last year at the V-Trans team and the Super Sports bike, I seem to remember. Just off the top of my head.
Billy McConnell, had a bit of a run. Yeah, he's a bit of Super Sport experience, but still a young rider, and he fits the criteria for this championship.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's not about nationality, it's about fitting the criteria. Although I have to say that some of the criteria is fairly loose, in as much as that Rob Mack can pick pretty much what he thinks is the experience that's correctly necessary as an entry level into this class.
He wouldn't give me an entry, so I obviously didn't fit in there somewhere. Can't understand what it was.
Man of your age, you'd have 2 bikes to actually fit in with the criteria, wouldn't you? 22 years old for each one of them.
Billy McConnell doing a brilliant job in very difficult conditions, especially when you're leading.
And keeping off the paint there. Did you notice through the chicane, keeping well away from there?
Yeah.
So half distance for Billy McConnell so far, a little bit over that. Number 29 is a faller as well, I can tell you. As we're looking down our order here.
Slippy into this one. You can see the back end of that bike just stepping out a little bit there. And it looks like the rain's gone off.
Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it, with these kind of conditions. Last week I was down at the Northwest 200 in Northern Ireland, and the weather they had there was very similar. Raining 1 minute, dry the next minute, then the sun had come out. Extremely difficult to make tyre choice. Not so much today here at Croft, of course, but over a 9-mile track like the Northwest. a big problem. 34 goes through. That's Mark Pollock on the Walsh Motors Yamaha. Mark Pollock currently in 4th place in the championship. Won at Thruxton, had a 2nd place at Brands Hatch the opening round, but since then has really had a struggle. Mallory Park only 3 points he scored there. Alton Park a little better with 8 points. But
another talented youngster and a protege of Eddie Laycock.
Works for Eddie Laycock in his shop, and he's the man that he wants to emulate, apparently.
Is that a bike shop? Because Eddie Laycock was running a pet shop for a while.
One of the pet shop boys. I'm sure there's something we can talk about there, but probably won't. Now then, 1:28.8 was the lap record by Ollie Bridewell round here on the Yamaha R6 Cup, as it was last year, and 1:28.028 was the quickest lap by Brendan Roberts, so he might get some consolation. Oh, some consolation. Yeah, I thought that was going to go off the track. Ian Lowry just found, I think the front, did it look like he locked the front end for a moment there?
Well, you just run across the curb there. I'm not sure if the curb just upset the front end of that bike with a momentary wobble. It certainly upset him and made him run off the track.
Well, you can't go on the white line, not when it's raining. I mean, the white line just doesn't get a chance to dry out. And paint, even though it's posh paint that's supposedly grippy, it's still not as grippy as proper tarmac when it's rained on anyway. I was about to say, Brendan Roberts, he's got the consolation at the moment of the fastest lap and a new lap record as it is at the moment, but Billy McConnell still leads. John Boyley in 2nd place. John Boyley on bike 78. Where have we managed to miss John Boyley coming through to 2nd place? He's 10 seconds behind the leader. That might have something to do with it. But number 78, John Boyley, leads this race. 2nd in this race. Sorry, this man is 3rd, number 13.
David Anthony. Yeah, John Boyley had a storming run here last year at Croft.
Well, you can say that again. John Boyley currently down in what, 2, 4, 6, 7th position on 37 points. Best score was at Brands Hatch in the opening round.
Billy McConnell there on pole position, 2nd off the line on the first lap, but he's just done a brilliant job.
John Boyley in 2nd place on the 78 bike on the Paddock Car Electric sponsored R6. He's really, he's quite boring, Billy McConnell, at the moment. He's managed to judge these conditions so very well. He's backing it in, he's feeling very comfortable on that motorcycle. He's keeping it off of the white line by miles. And every time it rains, he just backs it up a little bit, slows it down a fraction. Then when it's drying out, he just seems to be able to judge the conditions so very, very well.
Textbook ride, and Brendan Roberts, the crasher at turn 1, he's got back on and currently in 17th position.
John Boyley just put in his fastest lap of the race, 1:28.5, so 2nd place, but he's still got an 11-second deficit behind this man, the race leader, Billy McConnell. David Anthony, he put his fastest lap of the race in a moment ago as well, in 3rd place. Mark Pollock is in 4th place on bike 34. 5th place, Connor Cummins even on bike number 3. Ian Lowry on bike 17 is in 6th place. 18 is Tommy Bridewell, younger brother of Ollie Bridewell, in 7th place. And then it's 70, Tom Grant. But no flies on this young Australian. He really has just cleared off.
Yeah.
And even bouncing across the chicanes, he's keeping off the white lines, he's staying out of trouble. He's being very, very precise indeed. 28.24. He just stuck up another fast lap, Billy McConnell. 28.2 last time round.
Class act, not totally unexpected, because himself and Brendan Roberts were 0.8 of a second in front of David Anthony in 3rd place in qualifying. And as you can see, I know that Billy's been up here and done a couple of track days, so he's had a bit of track time here. He knows where the track goes, but that's certainly available to anyone that wants to do it. He's having a look now. See him looking around at quite a few sections of the track. He'll be seeing plus 11 on his pit board, so he's got time to have a look and just make sure he is safe.
Looking down through the leaderboard, Adam Jenkins is riding down there in 16th place, having had that fall. He might just pick up a point or two. Oh, I tell you what, he was in there a bit hot, pulling it back down to 1st gear. Made the apex though, kinda.
Yeah, not a huge problem when you're doing that. Yeah, I think that's the only corner they do go back to 1st gear.
Just 30 odd miles an hour in the middle of that turn. Perhaps a bit less than that. Through the chicane again, just venturing onto the white lines now. Maybe they've dried out a little bit. Doesn't seem to have any big problem. We're on lap 11 of the 14 laps. This is your race leader. He was the pole sitter, the Australian Billy McConnell. He rides the yellow bike, the animal-sponsored motorcycle, and that is because he is the series leader. He has one win to date. That was the last round at Alton Park. This, barring any major incident, is going to be his second win of the series, and is going to extend his lead at the top of the championship. .11.2 was his lead over John Boy Lee in second place last time round. As we come down towards the end of this lap, got a great style. He's looking over his shoulder, keeping an eye on what's going on the part of the track where you don't have to turn your head too much. He just looks to see if anybody's sneaking up on him. It's quite a class ride, I've got to say. Whoa, here we go. Let's have a bit of this, shall we? Looked like Mark Pollock up the inside there, and he managed to make the turn. Well, Mark Pollock is in fourth place at the moment. In front of him is number 13. That's David Anthony. So, in fact, I think it might be 17. Ian Lowry. There's been a lot of shifting around in this particular group since they came round last time.
Yeah, number 17 is Ian Lowry.
Battle for fourth place. Ben Castleton, I can tell you, on bike 82, has just come into pit lane past us. 17, Ian Lowry leads this bunch. He is in fourth place now. 17 is Ian Lowry in fourth place. Mark Pollock in fifth place. Connor Cummins in sixth place. Tommy Bridewell in seventh place on bike 18. They all look a bit steady through the chicane compared to your race leader Billy McConnell, though. McConnell seems to be just that cut above, doesn't he?
Well, you just have that confidence when everything's going right. He's still extending his lead a second a lap, and he's plus 12 at the moment. That is incredible. Incidentally, his main competition at the beginning of that race, Brendan Roberts, now managed to squeeze himself up into the points. He's up into 15th, so made a bit of a comeback, and it's been worthwhile picking that bike up, even if he's going to scrabble a few points out of the job.
Points count, of course. 2 rounds can be dropped this year from their worst scores, and that can make all the difference at the end of the year. 34, Mark Pollock. Chasing Ian Lowry, one from Northern Ireland, one from Southern Ireland. Still Billy McConnell. Billy McConnell's race lead at the end of that last lap was up to 12.240 seconds over John Boy Lee in second place. So John Boy Lee on the Paddock Car Electrics R6 just not able to get on the same kind of pace as Billy McConnell. Not that he needs to, because he's 2.5 seconds in front of number 13, David Anthony.
It's not over yet. They're only going on their last lap here.
Well, this is the battle not even for a podium. This is the battle for fourth place at the end of the day. Connor Cummins is right there now in front of Tommy Bridewell. Bridewell on bike 18 has come up, but back comes 34, Mark Pollock. 3 is Connor Cummins. He was our one to watch last year in one of the R6 Cup. Of course, this is his second year in the R6 Cup races. You thought that might have been an advantage, but clearly not.
I don't think so, yeah. 1 lap to go, but we know in R6 Cup racing anything can happen.
51. I've just been looking down as a 51, Matthew Whittam. That's Whitman.
Whitman.
I thought for a moment we got a Whittam out there. That would have been a worry.
Distant relation.
James Whittam has been around the racetrack all week long this week, making a new CD, which I'm sure you'll be able to read about soon, with Charlie Boorman as well. So they collaborated together, making a new DVD, I should say, not a CD. That's
Charlie Boorman is actually everywhere. I'm sure he's got a double everywhere I go. He seems to be there. Or
no, you can't look like that and have a double.
Bless him.
Sorry, Charlie. Get me back later. But I was plugging your DVD. Billy McConnell out front. Still John Boy Lee in third place. Still David Anthony in third place. But this little battle for fourth is going to run right to the wire. We are on the final lap, of course. Who's it going to be over the line? It's got to be Billy McConnell, surely. He had a 12-second lead last time. Billy McConnell already on his last lap. These guys yet to start it. That is the difference in pace, I'm afraid to tell you. Fourth place man goes over the line. 17, Ian Lowry. 34, Mark Pollock. 18, Tommy Bridewell. 3, Connor Cummins. Through the chicane. I can't imagine what the last lap shenanigans are going to be like for these when they come down to that last complex and the last corner on the course, which is a hairpin. What's your betting?
Well, anything can happen. All of these guys are aggressive young men. Mark Pollock is a race winner in the past, a big talent.
Well,
he wants good points, but he'd be prepared to do anything to get them.
Peter Newell is a faller, the 69 bike. Talking to James Whittam earlier on. Peter Newell, though, on Newell's racing motorcycle, he is down at Sunny Corner, number 69, on the final lap. Still Billy McConnell. His lead down to 11.9 seconds last time round. Well, he can cruise on this last lap. There's a bit more rain again coming down. I would suggest that's the reason why he's taking it a little easier. Yeah. Here he is then. Last turn for your race leader, Billy McConnell. And the should they, shouldn't they debate will continue in the press about the Australians dominating this Virgin Mobile Cup. From me and Neil's point of view, the best riders are out there in the 16 to 22-year-old category, and that's what it is. John Boy Lee surely will come across the line to take second. He does. And it is 13 in third place. That's David Anthony. Fourth place goes to 17, Ian Lowry. Fifth place to 34, Mark Pollock.
So winner, Billy McConnell, living in Tamworth at the moment, followed by John Boy Lee. David Anthony completes the rostrum. Ian Lowry in fourth, Mark Pollock, Tommy Bridewell, Connor comes in seventh, and